Welcome to Attleboro Update. Dozens of parishioners were saddened last Sunday as they filled the pews at St. Joseph's Church for the last time. The parish was well known in the community for serving a diverse population within the Attleboro area. On Tuesday, the St. Joseph's Parish merged with Holy Ghost Church to form a single parish. The merger came about as a way to reduce some of the financial burdens shared between the two parishes. DoubleACS spoke with Father Richard Wilson to find out more about the merger and what parishioners can expect to see in the near future.
My name is Father Richard Wilson. I am the pastor of St. Vincent de Paul Parish and St. John the Evangelist Parish, as well as the editor of the diocesan newspaper, The Anchor. I began here on June 27th. Also, Bishop Coleman asked if I'd be happy to have an assistant. I said, of course, yes. And I was very happy when he named Father Riley Williams to be my assistant. Father Williams and I, back before he was a priest, had served together one summer back in my old assignment at Our Lady Guadalupe at St. James in New Bedford. And he was a great worker, and so I knew I could be very happy working with him. And as my father said when we moved in, he said, it's nice that you're moving in, and oftentimes you're moving in with a total stranger, but here the two of you have worked together and lived together before. You know, different priests in the diocese had different ideas of what should be done here in Attleboro. And yet we wanted to talk to the people of Attleboro to find out what should be done. Leaders from St. Joseph's Parish actually approached us back in the early fall about their concern about the financial situation of St. Joseph and Holy Ghost, and they suggested closing St. Joseph's and moving over to Holy Ghost. The reason for that was because it is much more expensive to maintain St. Joseph's Church because of the high ceiling and the old heating systems and the size of the building. And so although actually St. Joseph was better off in terms of its cash flow and had a larger attendance than Holy Ghost did, they felt that it would be better to move from the medium-sized church over to the smaller church because Holy Ghost Church was also in better shape physically. Father Murray had made the schedule of the two parishes so that way if he had to, he could do the Masses. And so really we just kind of were able to then glide over the schedule of St. Joseph into here at Holy Ghost. On Saturday night we have Mass at 4 o'clock. Now that had been one of the Holy Ghost Masses. Then on Sunday morning we have Mass at 8:30 in Portuguese. That was already here. Then we have the 10:30 Mass in English, which had been at St. Joseph, the 12 noon Mass in Spanish, which had been at St. Joseph, and the 5:30 Mass in English, which again had been at St. Joseph. Now weekdays, Father Murray had Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday 9 a.m. Mass here, and then he had a Saturday 9 a.m. Mass over at St. Joseph, so that Mass came over from St. Joseph too. So in terms of the Masses, it wasn't a problem. Both parishes have debts to the diocese. The reason for these debts is that when they did not have enough money to pay their bills, especially health insurance, the diocese will then cover the bills, but the diocese does not have an infinite amount of money and will need to be repaid. Father Murray really stopped the increasing of the debts in the two parishes. So he worked with the people to be able to get the expenses under control. And ultimately, Bishop Coleman thanked us for the work we're doing here in Attleboro and that the people here have been so cooperative. So he gave us 5 years to work with this merger of Holy Ghost and St. Joseph's parishes together. If after 5 years they did not show growth in their attendance and were not able to begin paying off their debts, then we would have to merge with St. John's Parish. And we felt that these two smaller parishes, St. Joseph and Holy Ghost, deserved the opportunity to try it on their own, and that they had been working together already, and it was not the parishioners' faults that the parishes had racked up these debts. And so really the parishioners deserve the opportunity to try to work at this. And also we felt that Attleboro is a city of the size of which deserves, I think, to have two parishes in the main part of the city. This is a trilingual parish, 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And it's interesting because St. Joseph's Parish was set up as a French-Canadian parish, while Holy Ghost Parish was set up as a territorial parish. There are 2 types of parishes in the Catholic Church, either territorial or personal. Personal often would be by ethnic group, or it could be like a military parish or a student parish, something like that. And we see there's a lot of common denominators in terms of their devotion to the Blessed Mother, Hispanics to Our Lady Guadalupe, Portuguese people to Our Lady of Fatima, but there are a lot of English-speaking people who are devoted to Our Lady of Guadalupe as the patroness of the unborn, and a lot of English and Spanish people who are devoted to Our Lady of Fatima too. And so there's a lot of overlap in their devotion to the Blessed Mother. In terms of the name, we had asked the people of the parishes to give us suggestions, but we asked them to pray about it and in their suggestion to also write down why they were thinking about a given name. So then we wrote to Bishop Coleman to give him these names, and over a few weeks he must have thought and prayed about it, and then he gave us back the name of St. Vincent de Paul. Over in Rhode Island, the evangelization project over there, they had been praying actually to St. Vincent de Paul for his intercession, that this project might be done in Massachusetts also. And here they were, asking St. Vincent de Paul, please pray for this program. And then our parish ends up being named St. Vincent de Paul, and so it looked like an answer to the prayers of the people of Rhode Island too. And so we see, God working through a lot of this, and the people have been wonderful. I mean, the people are really prayerful people, and so the people of St. Joseph, of course, are sad about leaving their church. They weren't jumping for joy by any means, but because they are people who really have a faith rooted in the Eucharist, they knew we go to church not for the building, we go for God and for the Eucharist. And they had already been working together with the people of the Holy Ghost, for example, in the St. Vincent de Paul Society, working to help the poor, and in the Adoration Chapel. I'm very grateful to the people of our parishes here, and it would now ultimately the parish of St. Vincent de Paul, but the people of St. Joseph, the people of Holy Ghost, that they have been great. And as I said myself this past Sunday at Mass, I mean, I've just really been moved by how God has worked through them, and the example of their faith, and that their faith is really rooted in the Eucharist, and and that rooting in the Eucharist then helps them to be able to help the poor and to be able to really witness to the importance of human life, and I just am very happy to be their pastor.